Hello violinists, welcome to Pro-Am Strings. I'm Henriette and this is lesson 8 in the Violin for Beginners course with the All for Strings string method. Today is a very exciting day because we're learning how to play our left hand fingers on the violin. First of all, I'll show you the right techniques, and then once we've got that going, we'll have a look in your book on page 18 and I'll talk you through some of the exercises there. So by the end of the lesson, you should have a good grasp of how to use your first finger on the D string. Now, before we get started with your violin, I'd like you to grab a pen and write a little finger line on your index finger, because I would like you not to play with finger tapes on your violin, and you can see in the photo of your book that the book suggests that, but I always find that the glue on any sort of sticker will soften as you play when it warms up, so then the stickers will move. Instead, I'd like you to hear where your finger is going, and to aid with the positioning of your left hand, I've written a little finger line right there where my finger is joined onto my hand, and I'll call this thing my finger line. Once you've got that, let's grab your violin and your bow. In order to be successful with your left hand fingers, your left hand position is absolutely vital. So if you haven't already got a shoulder rest, please get one before you start this lesson today. And then let's place your violin properly on your shoulder with your jaw here, that corner of your jaw on the chin rest. And then let's find out where that finger line is, and let's place it right next to the E string, as far back as you can get it. So I'm now no longer holding my violin here, but I'm moving my hand back, and I can see almost a little V shape between my E string here and my finger line. And I'll see if I can let you see that. I don't know if you can see it like that. So when I've got my finger line in place, you can see that every one of my fingers is above the fingerboard being this black thing here, of course, isn't it? And that is very, very important because that makes your fingers fall onto the string. Now, I see this quite a lot when people play with this ridge of knuckles below the level of the fingerboard, and this makes it near impossible to play in tune on the violin. So from the outset, right from the word go today, I'd like you to have your finger line in place right next to the E string. Now let's practice our first finger, and my first finger is my index finger, by the way. So this we'll call finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, finger 4. Today we're just talking about the first finger, and I'm going to place it on the D string, so I want you to curl it up as much as you can, so not sort of halfway like that, but curl it up completely so you've got no space here in between the knuckles of your fingers. So I'm checking my finger line, I'm bending my finger completely, and then place it on the D string. Now once you've got your finger line in place, let's think about your left thumb. And your left thumb should be peaking about half a nail up above the fingerboard, like that. And it is not as far back as that, but it's upright like this, so that when I place my finger in a moment, my thumb and my index finger are about opposite each other. The rule is really that your thumb mustn't be on this side of your index finger or on that side of your second finger. But for now, I think it's fine if you think about opposite each other, that will be fine. But the main thing is that it shouldn't be squeezing, and it also shouldn't be lying back, because what happens when my thumb lies back, and you can already tell from my wrist gets to bend, so I'll get this upright, look, and that pushes my wrist out, you see. Now once you've got all these things more or less in place, you are automatically far more likely to play in tune already. My first finger, when you bend it, close the gap completely so you have no space in here. So you roll your finger up until you can't go any further, you see, so no sort of halfway jogs like this, but completely bent. And then your first finger comes down on the string about a finger width away from the nut. So I have a pretend finger that I can place here, and that is about the positioning of your first finger. Now that is about, that's roughly where the right note is. Of course, the sound of it determines where the precise location of your first finger is. So once we've got it all in place, we're going to compare this first finger with the open D string. And let's play a long bow on D first. And now I'm placing my first finger, and it should be sounding like this. And we're just going to repeat that a few times. Now stop the bow for a moment, leave it on the string while you place your first finger, and it should sound like this. Fabulous. Now take your finger away, so we have the D again. Pause your bow, place your finger. Let's do that again. Pause your bow, take your finger away. And one more time. Amazing, congratulations, you've learned your first finger. Now from here you're going to perfect your first finger, but being able to sing those notes, D1, will help you get your finger in tune. So let's sing this a couple of times. I'm actually going to sing D, E, and that way I learn the letter name of this note, the first finger on D, straight away. D, E, D, E. Brilliant. Now let's get your finger line in place. Let's sort out your thumb again. Let's make sure you've pushed your wrist out all right. And then we'll do the same thing again. So I'm playing a long D. Stop the bow, place your finger. Stop the bow, take your finger away. Stop the bow, place your finger. Sing that note in your head. Ta. D again. And now I want you to see if you can sing the note where your finger is going to be before you place your finger, so you can compare it to what you sing. Ta. Let's play that a few more times. D again. Hold it. Ta. One more time. D. Awesome. And this is how violin playing works. Violin players tend to sing each note in their heads before it sounds. So we know from the music what a note is going to sound like, and as you progress you will gradually pick up that skill and become very accomplished at it. But for now that may feel very, very strange, but it is really the only way to determine whether you play on tune or not. So if you sing this, D, E, D, E, you know where to place your finger, because if you play this, you sing ta, and you play this, you think, oh no, that is not right, you see. So this way it's very easy to check whether your note is in tune. Now, so you will learn to sing a whole step. From D to E in your music is a whole tone. So there is a whole tone between those two notes. And as you progress, you learn to sing these whole tones, and later on you'll learn semitones, half steps as well. But we won't worry about that today. Okay, so now once you've got this, let's practice it one more time. So you notice I take my time before I play. Every time I check my finger line, and I check my thumb, and I check my wrist. Because if my wrist does this, look, I'll show you, maybe it's easier to see it from this end. If my wrist does that, my fingers move away from the string, so away from where I need them. And that's why that wrist is so important. Can you see? This way my fingertips are in the air somewhere. And if I push my wrist out, I point my fingertips towards the strings, you see. So I have 3 checkpoints. My finger line, my thumb, and my left wrist. Once you've got that all sorted, let's play that D again. Pause your bow, sing the E, and I'll let you do it. And now let's check if your finger is in the right place. So if your finger was here, you're not quite in the right place, you need to move it up. That's it. If your finger was here, oh, you've gone too far up, you need to go back. There we are. Now that takes a while before you get used to that, but very soon you'll have this D-E tune, as I call it, D-E in your head, and it will make it much easier to play in tune. So let's practice it once more. Here comes our long D. Last time, your best one. Amazing. Give your arm a well-deserved rest, because that is something else, isn't it? You can feel it in your arm. Now, whilst your arm is resting, we're going to have a look in our book and see what that note E looks like in music. So what you've just played looks like this in music. Our note D is hanging down below the stave, so just hanging off the bottom line. And my note E, which is my first finger, is just a little bit higher. Now you may know that notes go like this. And the notes, as they get higher, they occupy either a space between 2 lines or they are on top of a line. Now the D is hanging off the bottom line, so the next note up is on top of the bottom line. The next note up is in between the 2 bottom lines. The next note up higher above there is on top of the second line. And so you carry on. The next note up is in between the 2 lines. So every step is either on top of a line or in between a line. Now from here we can think, okay, D is hanging down below the stave. My first finger on D, therefore, is on top of the bottom line of the staff. And that is something that's important to know, because this note might not look like a half note, but in your book you'll come across it as a quarter note. And I'll give you that example here. So it may also look like this, and it's the same finger that you use. Except the length of the note is now different, you see. This you hold for 2 counts, and this one you hold for 1 count. Now in a moment I'll show you the first example in your book, and there whole notes are used, so that looks a little bit different again because that note hasn't got a stem. So let's have a look in your book on page 18 and I'll show you. So take a look at this example here, and you can see the D is hanging off the bottom line here, and then your first finger on D is on top of the bottom line. The stems of the notes are missing here because they are whole notes. Each of those notes will last for 4 counts. This outline here represents your string. So we're on the D string, and your first finger is called E. All those things you know already, don't you? What you also have observed already is this gap here between the beginning of the string and where your first finger is, because there is a pretend finger in between those 2. I'd like you now to have a look at number 27, and I prefer to play this one first before that because you've got even notes and you don't need to worry about your bow at the same time. So let's just read this through, shall we? We've got a long D, we've got a long D, we've got a long first finger on D, another first finger on D, then we've got a D, 1, 1, D, D, 1, D, 1, 1, D, 1, D. Shall we play this exercise first? So before I can play exercise 27, I'm going to have my violin and I position it in my best ever violin position. My jaw is on the chin rest. Then I'm going to check my finger line. Is it precisely level with the E string? Then I'm checking my thumb and I'm also checking my wrist here. Now I'm going to get ready on the D string and I'll count us in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was very clever playing, well done. Now if you found it challenging to find the correct place for your finger, there is absolutely nothing wrong with testing your finger before you start. Until you found it, and then start your song, you see. It's much better to take a moment to test your finger beforehand than to play your whole song with a note which is out of tune, because we want to focus our hearing on the E that is properly tuned, you see. If you find that this has gone too quick for you, then build in little pauses in your playing. So it's absolutely fine to play the first 2 Ds. Stop your bow, place your finger. You see, it's much better to take your time at this stage of your learning than to go through too quickly and build in lots of bad habits. So you've heard me say that time and time again. Slow your playing down, take your time, do not rush, and that is ever so vital in this stage of your learning. So I'm hoping that you are like me and that you're a little bit patient. That's what violin players do. They're very patient people. Okay, now for a challenge today. I mean, feel free to play all the songs on this page, but we're going to play exercise 29 together. Now in 29, apart from focusing on where to place your left hand finger, you're also going to focus on whether you play long bows or short bows. That's fine because you're already accomplished in playing long bows and short bows, you see. So let's go straight in and let's see if we can manage this. So before we start, I'm placing my bow on the D string at the heel of the bow, and I'm checking my finger line, my thumb and my wrist. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm in awe of you if you manage to play that, because that's not so easy to do in one go. Of course, you want to practice it again in the next couple of days, come back to it frequently, and you will find that you will gradually improve. So if you got caught out in the second bar, that's okay for now. Just try it again later today, or maybe tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, and you'll see that you'll gradually get further and further. So there's no rush getting it right today. You can try it again another day. In your book you can see exercise 30, and I would like to skip that exercise for now because it is really extraordinarily difficult to do at this stage. So I would be totally happy for you not to play exercise 30. So good luck with practicing your first finger. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please subscribe to the channel and also write about your experience in learning this page in the comment section down below this video. I very much look forward to seeing you in the next lesson where we'll be learning the second finger. Goodbye.